Hello, 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 beautiful people. Welcome to Good Morning with me, Misty B. Now, guys, we have all heard about things going on with Simone Biles and her taking a moment to say, hey, I really need some time for self. And perhaps you had a chance to watch the Naomi Osaka interview on on Netflix. Listen, guys, today I have someone joining me virtually from New York. Her name is Katrina Adams, and she is the past president of the United States Tennis Association. And not only is she the past president, she is the first African American to ever lead the United States Tennis Association. So this is an interview that you do not want to miss. Now listen, I know that Fridays are usually Foodie Friday, right? But today we're doing something different. And I have these lovely macaroons that Bougie Bunny decided to drop by for me to taste. So here, I'm gonna take a quick bite. It is so gorgeous, it's so pretty. If you like macaroons, you'll like this. We'll be right back right after this break.
Confidence comes standard with a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac, your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on Houston's largest certified pre-owned Cadillac inventory, with the assurance of a 172-point inspection, meticulous reconditioning by master Cadillac technicians, and a total 5-year limited warranty with unlimited miles.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
Real estate can be a very complicated process. Finding one, how much can you afford? Financing, closing costs, mortgage, putting it on the market, considering offers, inspection, negotiations, submitting offers, schools, down payment, title insurance, home warranty, taxes, review net sheets. These are the pieces of the puzzle of home ownership. I'm the person who helps put it together and the glue that keeps it together. Give me a call.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. You know, we are in 2021, and I have to say, you know, Black women and Black people in general, we are still conquering being the first of several different things. Today, I have someone with me. She's actually virtual, and she is Katrina Adams. You probably heard of her. Hello, Katrina. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Wonderful.
All right, ladies in pink, I'm loving this. And we did not do this on purpose. All right,
No,
Katrina.
not at all.
So I have to jump right on in. And again, I introed and said, you know, here it is, 2021, and Black people, women of color, women in general, we're still, you know, being first. And so I'm reading about you, and I'm loving this story about you being this commentator for the Tennis Channel. Tell me, how did that happen? Like, I really want to hear how you initially said exactly what you said. I do not want to read it.
You know, I was. It's called stepping out on faith.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after retiring from being on the WTA tour for 12 years, and I've been coaching. You know, I studied communications at Northwestern University, and knew I wanted to go into commentating, but there just wasn't an in at ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis Channel was coming online a few months down the road. They were still building their network. They hadn't really gone out to look for talent, but I was in Los Angeles. And got a meeting with the producer and kind of introduced myself. They knew who I was, but I basically told them that they needed me more than I needed them.
Oh, I love that.
We all know that wasn't true. But it was, in a sense, because at that time, Venus and Serena were number 1 and 2 in the world.
Okay.
And who better to be able to be behind the scenes, talking about their matches, talking about their life's experiences than another Black woman. And so that was the pitch that I gave in a nutshell. And about 4 months later, when they were ready to flip the switch, I got the call and asked me to be their first color analyst.
I love that. And how long did you do that?
I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it
consistently. Yeah, I did it consistently with them probably for about 10 years. And then I've been in other capacities in the sport, and probably once or twice a year, I have an opportunity to go back and work for the Tennis Channel.
Okay, love that. And in 2015, you became the youngest person, the first former player, and the first African American to head the USTA. I want to hear about that experience as well.
Well, I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, when you look at the USTA, the national governing body of tennis in America, you know, in a 135-year history, there had not been a person of color at the helm. I was the fourth woman, so that was not a first.
I'm sorry, how long did you say, Katrina? How many years?
135 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And
okay.
So for me to be able to step into those shoes, step into that role and be the leader of the organization was huge, not only for me, not only for the organization, but really an entire race and culture of people. To see someone that looked like themselves as the leader of the organization, as a spokesperson, as that person that they saw and heard on a daily basis, talking about tennis, promoting and developing the growth of tennis in America.
I love that. So, Katrina, I have to tell you a personal story. I am that person. I'm always sharing some type of relatable story. So I was maybe 7, 8 years old. And in the summer, I grew up in Dallas. So in the summer, I used to go to like a summer camp, the local summer camp in the neighborhood. And people would always come in. And I remember loving to play tennis. Now, unfortunately, I did not stick with it. But I want to hear about, when did you fall in love with tennis?
So I started when I was 6.
Okay.
And I stumbled on the sport. My brothers were in a program right around in the neighborhood, right around the corner from our house. I was 6. They were 7 and 9 years older than me, and the program was for 9 to 18-year-olds. And so my parents were teachers. They taught summer school that summer. I was a tag-along sister, and so wherever they went, I went. But I was too young by the age group, and fortunately, I was able to kind of badger my way into the program with the coaches and the supervisor, and finally convincing my parents. And, you know, I loved it from the start. Once I got on the court, I hit that first ball over the net into the court. The coaches, you know, one of the coaches took me under his wing, and the rest is kind of history.
I love that. You sound like a woman. You gotta go for what you want. Like, listening to the story about how you got into tennis and then how you became the commentator. Like, no, you're really not gonna tell me no. You're gonna give me exactly what I want. And then let's talk.
Pretty much.
I get that energy from you. I'm an energy person. I definitely understand where you're coming from. So, planning the U.S. Open every single year. What did that look like? What does that look like?
Well, you know, it's a daunting task. I mean, we have an amazing staff. Everyone has their roles and responsibilities, and they come together about 6, 7, 8 months out before the tournament starts. And there are weekly meetings in the boardroom, and, you know, and everyone, they know what they need to get done. And so it's a collective effort by everyone involved, from the tournament director, you know, to our marketing, sales, communications department, you name it. And so it's definitely something that I enjoyed being a part of. Definitely an experience, a learning experience along the way. But as you can see, we've made exponential growth over the years. You know, I was at the helm when we put the roof on Arthur Ashe and rebuilt Louis Armstrong Stadium, as well as the other grounds in the South Plaza of the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. So I was very fortunate that of being at the helm at the time that I was.
I love that. And how many years were you a part of this?
It was 4 years as the head.
Okay, 4 years as the head. Look first. Okay, now I just want to make sure I get everything right. How many firsts have you been? I know first Black commentator for the Tennis Channel. What else?
I don't know.
You can't count them?
There's a lot.
There's a lot?
Yeah, there's several.
Any ones that really stick out?
Being a kid. I mean, I would say being the first president, chairman, and CEO of the USTA is the biggest. That's something that's global, and, you know, it's something I'm proud of, and reaping the rewards from it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So let's talk about current events. Let's get into this, right? So we all have watched the news. We know every single thing that's happened with Simone Biles. And, bring it home for you, Naomi Osaka. I had a chance to watch her documentary, I don't know when it was, but I watched it on Netflix. Very, very interesting story. I love it. Let's talk about mental health in tennis. We have this thing, especially as Black women. We're always taught, keep going, keep going. Like, even if you're tired, keep going. What are your thoughts and feelings about that? Especially since you're all about owning your voice and owning your identity. I would love to hear from you about this.
Well, I think as athletes, we constantly push ourselves beyond the limit. And so that's also pushing ourselves beyond the mental limit that we have and that mental capacity that we have, because it's just a part of it. We, as tennis players in particular, you're in a different city every week, and that different city could also be in a different country. Mm-hmm. So you're dealing with different cultures, different languages, different foods, different everything. And, fortunately for the WTA Tour, they have a mental health awareness program that they have for the players. The players have access to psychologists, psychiatrists. I believe the ATP Tour has the same, but I'm not sure about that. But it is something that's in place because, as young girls, young women, there's a lot of things that we're dealing with. We're dealing with, not just the capacity of competition, but your emotional, our emotional up and downs that we have of dating or not dating. All those things come into play.
Being a woman in general.
So absolutely. And then you add the media to it that perhaps, and on one side it's great for you because it's promoting you, it's promoting your brand, it's promoting the sport. And then on the other side, you're always going to get those questions. Well, you didn't play your best today. You're like, really? I didn't gather that on the court.
I know, right? And you're getting this from someone who plays no sport, more than likely. But
probably. But anyways, it's so for Naomi Osaka to really kind of speak up and speak out about this really brought awareness to it as a whole. She's not the first one to experience it. But she's the first one maybe in a long time to actually speak about it. We had Marty Fish many years ago that actually retired at the top when he was still rising, top 10, and he had anxiety issues. So to the point where he had to retire probably 3 or 4 years earlier than he would have, or maybe even longer. And so now you have Simone Biles, who speaks out at the Olympics about her challenges. And it's just opened the door for these athletes to know that they do have a platform, that they are being heard, and people are actually listening.
I love that. Absolutely. We're going to take a really quick break. I'll be right back with you in just a second. Okay, Katrina? Guys, stay tuned as we hear more from Katrina right after this.
Confidence comes standard with a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac, your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on Houston's largest certified pre-owned Cadillac inventory, with the assurance of a 172-point inspection, meticulous reconditioning by master Cadillac technicians, and a total 5-year limited warranty with unlimited miles.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Real estate can be a very complicated process. Finding one, how much can you afford, financing, closing costs, mortgage, putting it on the market, considering offers, inspection, negotiations, submitting offers, schools, down payment, title insurance, home warranty, taxes, review net sheets. These are the pieces of the puzzle of home ownership. I'm the person who helps put it together and the glue that keeps it together. Give me a call.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I still have Katrina Adams virtually, and I'm so excited. Okay, so Katrina, you've written your first book. Now, I have not had a chance to read it, but I promise you, after this interview, I am reading this book because I'm loving everything on this back cover. I have to know, what was your inspiration to write the book?
Well, it's actually something that I never planned on writing. I had a lot of people that encouraged me to write a book for about 5 years, probably, was saying, Kat, you need to write a book. And I'm a fairly private person. Like, I'm not going to write a book. What am I going to write about? And people convinced me that I needed to write a book about leadership, about my experience, and that I was such a role model for so many people. And when you're in it, doing the things that you're doing, for me in particular, I'm not looking for those accolades. But after a lot of thought, I thought about it, and I was able to get a literary agent, and then a publisher. And then we went down the path of the finished product of what you have. And so hopefully it's inspirational for people. Hopefully it inspires people to own their own your car.
Okay, so Katrina, it looks like you have cut out on us. But while you're saying that, I'm going to let you get fixed. But what I'm loving about this book, so I just want to say this really quickly as we are inspiring everyone. The back of the book, 12 match points for thriving when you're the only one. So these are her 12 points. Number 1, own the table. I love that. Number 2, own your legacy. 3, own your courage. That one is my absolute favorite. I can't wait to ask Katrina more about it. Oh, Katrina, you're back. Yay. Honey, I was just inspiring the people by telling them about the back of the book. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, okay, I was just saying, I was reading the back, and I love these 12 match points. And I just stopped, perfect timing, on own your courage. Okay. You hear about owning the table. You hear about owning your voice. You hear about owning your identity. What is owning your courage?
Well, for me, it's about being bold in all things that you do and understanding that you stand on the shoulders of those that came before you. I think we as women, and as Black people in particular, we always kind of stand down and stand back on a lot of things that we want. And we're afraid to go out and step out on that limb to do things. And I think it's important that you have to own your courage, because if you don't have the courage to step up and let people know what it is that you want, then you're never going to have that opportunity to go for it. And after that, it's really about owning your voice, because if you can own your courage, then you have the voice to speak out and speak up for those very things that you want to really hopefully follow your dreams and accomplish those goals.
Absolutely. So Katrina, I can say, I've only met you a few moments ago, but you definitely seem like a courageous woman. I'm a courageous woman as well. I can see the similarities between you and I. My thing is, if I see it, I want it, I go get it. And I have proof. That's what I do. But for those who don't have that natural instinct, what advice, what encouraging words would you give them?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not everybody has that. I mean, I've been born with this confidence. I've always felt confident about everything that I do. But it's really about surrounding yourself with the right people. Make sure that you have the right team around you that is encouraging, that's supporting you, that's giving you that advice, sound advice. And it's up to you as to how you approach it. Not everybody's going to be as bold as I am, that's for sure. And you have to have your own strategy and your own plan. But make sure you have it written out. Make sure you have your bullet points and your steps as to what it is that you want to accomplish. And then you start to check those off. You're not going to do them all at once, but it does take time to really go forward and to be heard and put yourself in those positions. But once you're in that position, once you're in that room, at the table, in that arena, then you better come prepared. You better make sure that you've done your research, that you're knowledgeable about the topic that you're going to speak about, and then go for it.
I love that. So you said something that just really hit home for me when you said, write it out. I am that person. I still write things down in 2021. I still believe in real pen and paper. And for me, I'm a business owner, right? And so I succeeded at everything else I wanted. I had all these goals I wanted to accomplish by 32, 34, and I did it, Katrina. But it was the moment that I wrote a letter to myself. And it feels like in that moment, my therapist actually said, you gave yourself permission to have that courage. I've killed everything else. Let me go ahead and kill this, entrepreneurship as well. So I love that you said that, because I'm a big believer in real pen and paper. Something else I love on the back. I love the 12 match points. Own the possibilities. Oh, that's a good one. Like, think about that, because sometimes, we live in so much fear. So what is owning the possibilities for you? What does that look like?
Well, we always talk about reach for the stars, right? Well, the stars are the possibility. What is possible what's possible for you depends on what you have done to get you there, to create those opportunities. Possibilities are opportunities. And so if you put yourself in a position to have a certain opportunity, make sure you grab a hold of it and own it. Don't let it pass you by, because then that possibility of getting to that next level, getting that job or whatever that might be for you, will pass you by. And so that's really what the possibilities are about.
I love that. And so I have to ask you, so in your journey, and you've had a very, seriously, you are inspiring. I am that person. I love to inspire. So when I meet someone that's inspirational, it's like, oh, that's amazing. I like you. I like what you're doing, because you give so many people hope, especially when you're not trying, right? You're just living your best life, and your best life has turned into this amazing book, which is going to inspire so many. So I have to ask you, in your journey, how have you successfully pursued these 12 takeaways? You don't have to go through all 12, but how have you pursued owning your choices?
Well, I mean, listen, choices are really sacrifices, right? So we all make sacrifices to get what we want, or to be who we want to be. And those are choices that we make. And so I look at choices as a more positive definition of sacrifice, right? Because when people say, oh, you sacrifice so much, it makes it seem like you've lost something. You haven't. It's the choices that you've made to get yourself ahead, to move forward. And so when you look at all the 12 winning match points, I mean, these are all things that I've experienced in my life. The losses and the successes are really stem from tennis. We lose a lot more matches in tennis than we do when you're developing. So if you can understand that you're learning from those losses to get better, to improve, to start to win and be successful, then you can enjoy the journey a lot more. Owning your identity. We're in a time that we, as Black people in particular, need to own our identity a lot more and be proud of who we are, and stand up and stand out for what we believe in. And, we have so many different people in the world and in America right now, with different genders and different race, ethnicity. It's important that you own your identity and you're able to make that a positive in whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Absolutely. So our time is wrapping up, but I have to ask you, do you have a book tour coming up anytime soon?
Well, I've been on tour. It's been a slow one since March. Obviously with COVID and the pandemic, it's kind of slowed it down. I actually have a book signing later today here in New York, in Westchester, and Scarsdale. I will have one at the US Open next Saturday, September 4th, middle weekend of the US Open. And then I'll be in Vegas mid-September. So hopefully I'll be in Houston later this year, or maybe early next year.
I absolutely love it. And thank you so much for your time. But before you go, where can people connect with you, and how can they get the book? So when you come to Houston, they're already ready to get their book signed.
You can connect with me on my website, KatrinaMAdams.com. You can inquire if you want to, reach out to me for speaking engagements or things of that nature. You can also purchase the book on a link that'll take you to various locations: Amazon, Target, Hudson News, HarperCollins, etc. So please go to my website or go directly to Amazon.com or any of those other platforms to buy the book.
Thank you so much, Katrina, for meeting me virtually. It has been an honor. I appreciate it, and I definitely will be following you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed having this conversation.
Absolutely. You have a great one. Guys, I hope that everyone stays inspired. All week we've been bringing on inspirational people. Inspirational. The message is stay inspired. I am going to be right back with you right after this break.
Confidence comes standard with a certified pre-owned Cadillac from Ron Carter Cadillac, your only Houston area Cadillac to your door dealer. Get 2.9% APR for 72 months on Houston's largest certified pre-owned Cadillac inventory, with the assurance of a 172-point inspection, meticulous reconditioning by master Cadillac technicians, and a total 5-year limited warranty with unlimited miles.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
Real estate can be a very complicated process. Finding one, how much can you afford, financing, closing costs, mortgage, putting it on the market, considering offers, inspection, negotiations, submitting offers, schools, down payment, title insurance, home warranty, taxes, review net sheets. These are the pieces of the puzzle of home ownership. I'm the person who helps put it together and the glue that keeps it together. Give me a call.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, after every interview this week, I feel like I've said, were you inspired? But I genuinely mean that. Katrina's story and her encouragement and inspiration to others is simply amazing. Now listen, I have her book here in my hand, and I can honestly say, Own the Possibilities. That's the one that is truly, truly, truly resonating with me in this moment. And I think it's because sometimes, you know, we're talking about Black people and we're being the first to still do things in 2021. But a lot of times people are moving out of fear. So you don't own the possibility. You're so afraid that, hey, this may not work out, versus seeing the possibility. Like Katrina said here, what if it does work out? What if I can come into this room or in this arena and own the possibility that, hey, this may work in my favor, and it actually may work better out. It may work better for me than what I expected. That's the mindset I want all of us to have. As always, make sure you are chatting with me, talking with me. We love hearing from you guys. And hey, you can always bring me more food because you know I love to eat. We're always on Instagram and Facebook at American Star TV. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye-bye.